Hi guys, and welcome to another video. And it is a new week, and it has been some week in the UK. A lot of you will probably be across all the riots sort of stuff, etc. And you'll sit on either side, whether you think it's right, whether you think it's wrong, and different things like that. But I'm not going to go too much into that because of sort of politics, etc. I want to stay out of that. I don't really have that many views on what's sort of going on. I think you can make your own mind up to whether you think it's right or wrong. But what I have found quite interesting over the sort of last week or so is the police dog stuff. Now, I think that when people look at us, you would think that the natural progression as a security dog handler is that you would want to become a police dog handler. And I think for a lot of handlers, that is not the case. And I think for a lot of handlers, that is not obtainable as well. From what I've heard, just because you're a security dog handler, if you go and join the police, you still have to do your 2-3 years on the beat, and then you can apply to be a special part of the police, i.e. whether that's guns, dogs, or whatever it is. And from what I've heard, really busy around here today. From what I've heard is that if you have previous training as a security dog handler, it's highly unlikely that you'll be able to become a police dog handler. The waiting list for becoming a police dog handler, I think, is quite long anyway, but they want you to be trained their way. They don't want you to have previous training. So from what I've heard of people is that it's highly unlikely that even if you applied for it, whether you would actually become a police dog handler due to your previous employment as a security dog handler and your previous training, etc. But I think that what people, or the public, because I think that we're largely outside of the public eye. People very rarely see us. Obviously, we normally work the unsociable hours, we're working nights. And if people do see us, we're normally behind a gate, etc. We're not just walking around the streets. So I think that the way the public view us and view our dogs and the job that we do are probably their way of looking at it is probably what they see from the police. So the way in which the police act with their dogs, the way in which the police dogs are. And I think that that's where we get tarnished a little bit by some of the stuff that you see out on the streets. And look, I think that you have to accept that what the police dogs are doing at that specific point is possibly a lot higher and a lot more intense than what maybe we put up with. But I think there's been a few videos this week. I've maybe got a couple of videos for you. And look, I think one of them's quite funny. I can see the funny side of it. I can also see the serious side of it. But this first one, I can kind of see the funny side of this, and whether he deserved it or not, you can make your own opinion up for it. But yeah, let me put this one on first.
Oh! You get back! You get back!
Now, whether you think that guy deserved it or not, I see the funny side of that video. I think he was antagonising them. I think that he was asking for it, in my personal opinion. Now, do I think that the police officer with the dog maybe overstepped the mark a little bit? Yes, but you have to appreciate that there's riots going on. They're antagonising the police. They're bringing it upon themselves. So do I feel sorry for that bloke? No, I don't. I don't feel sorry for that bloke because he was kind of asking for it. I have actually got this side of the video, which I think was taken a little bit before. And as you can see, he was antagonising. Now, the interesting point in that video, the reason that I'm showing that video, I think it brings up an interesting point. And the interesting point is that police dogs, the same as our dogs, they'll be trained on sleeves and legs. So they'll be trained to target the legs or the arms That's normal, pretty basic standard stuff. Now, I don't know that for sure, but that would be my guess. My guess that police dogs would be trained on arms and legs. Now, what's interesting on that, and something that was Terry said to me a long time ago, and something that's been said to me before, is that real life situations are very different to training. So when it comes to training, the decoy will present the leg or present the arm for the dog to bite. Now, obviously they'll have sleeves on, etc. But something that was said to me a long time ago, 2-3 years ago, when I first kind of started, that you can do all the training that you want, and you can teach the dog to target arms, teach the dog to target legs. But in real life situations, even if a dog has been trained on solely arms, if someone tries to kick the dog will bite whatever's closest to it. And I think that is good proof of that. Now, like I say, I believe that police dogs are trained on arms and legs, but the first thing that was presented to that dog was his arse. And it's funny that previous to that he was slapping his arse and antagonising, and maybe the dog fixated on maybe that part of it because he was presenting that part to the dog earlier on in the video. But I find it interesting. Something that you have to that you probably have to realise is that no matter how much training you do with dogs and training on arms and legs, in real life situations when the dogs are really heightened, whatever the word is, when they're intense, that dogs will bite whatever's in front of them, and the first thing that gets to them. Like I say, he obviously had his legs and his arms out of the way, and the dog was presented at waist height, and the dog bit him on the arse. So the reason that I showed that video is kind of just proving that point of, you can train the dog as much as you like, but if you present the dog with an arse and it wants to bite something, it will bite the closest thing to it. Now, this second one is where I feel like the police overstep, and I feel like the police tarnish us and our dogs with a bad brush, and it's this video here.
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
Now, whether you think he deserved what he got is up to you. Again, it always comes down to personal opinion. I think, obviously, from what I can make out of the video, he's not the one that throws the object to the police, but I think he's coming in to do something similar. And then the police dog handler and the dog has obviously intercepted him before he's got a chance to throw something at the police. Now, obviously the police are pretty well trained in that situation, so when the dog goes in, grabs him by the leg and starts dragging him, the police run in to stop anyone running towards the police dog and the handler, etc., to try and help the kid out that's on the floor. Now, whether you think that he deserved that or not is always down to opinion, etc. But what isn't required is, I've got a still here, and I think what isn't required is the second dog. I think that is unnecessary force. Now, as you can see, the kid is not trying to kick, he's not trying to fight the police dog. He hasn't got anything in his hands that he can injure any other policeman. So I think at that point, the second dog is absolutely unnecessary. And I think, like I say, when it comes down to public perception, I think that they see police dog handlers as the pinnacle of what security dog handlers do. So they think that we aspire to step up to be a police dog handler. And like I say, in a lot of cases, that's not the case. Now, like I say, there's two different videos there. Do I feel like the guy in the first video, do I feel like he deserved something? Whether he deserved the dog bite, I think, is up to public opinion. But I think at some point he was likely to get himself arrested anyway. But I think the second one, did the kid deserve the first dog bite? Again, down to public opinion. What I think that we could probably all agree on is that the second dog was absolutely not required, and that's unnecessary force. And if I was a chief in the police or whatever it was, I would definitely look at that, at the second dog handler, and say, well, why did you come in and do that? So I think that there's been some stuff going on this week. Look, like I say, I think it's a lot down to sort of public opinion, etc. But I think that you have to understand the situation that they're in, and I think you have to understand that sometimes using the dog as a bit of force can actually stop the progression of a riot. Let's take the first video for instance. Is that okay? Maybe he deserved a dog bite, maybe he didn't, but if the police just stand there and keep on taking it and they don't show a bit of force, that can only escalate to more people getting a bit more confident. Because if you actually watch in the first video as well, is that as soon as the police and the police dog handler and the dog show a bit of force, how quickly people started to disperse, how quickly people started backing up. Before that, when they wasn't showing too much force, they were standing there and they felt brave enough to come up, start insulting the police, etc., saying we pay your wages, etc. I think lots of people have seen the video, etc. But until the police dog handler showed a little bit of force, they was all very confident, and that could have got worse and worse, and more people could have got confident coming up to the line and intimidating the police and different things like that. So maybe just that little show of force possibly stopped anything progressing. But like I say, with the second one, whether the first bite was required, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, to stop him from throwing stuff at the police. Maybe they'd already been bombarded with bricks, etc. Maybe they had already had some injuries, so that show of bit of force maybe stopped people carrying on trying to assault the police by throwing stuff at them, etc. But what I think we can all agree is the second dog handler coming in with a dog was definitely unnecessary. So look, this is not a political thing, this is not me. Look, I've just seen a couple of these videos going around. I think two of them you can probably take either way. It's all down to opinion. Whether people are going to agree with me, I have absolutely no idea. Whether it matters or not, it doesn't really matter to me. But I thought it was just an interesting thing. So if you've got any comments, put them down in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts on the two videos. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe down below for loads more videos. That's for now. I'll see you again next week. Cheers for watching. Just in time. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.